and welcome to my channel, Simply Maggie. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make the Daisy Blooms mini tote. I have a few of them here. I've made them in multiple colors. So in one of my previous videos, I showed you how to make this exact granny square. So you could use that tutorial to make your granny square in multiple colors. You could also use that tutorial to make your granny square in just one color. And so today what I'm going to be showing you is how to assemble your Daisy Blooms mini tote. So you can use the previous video to make the actual granny squares. You'll need 13 of them. And then come back to this video and I'll show you how to assemble all of the granny squares into one of these totes. And it's all crochet. So after you assemble the actual bag, we'll be crocheting the edge and the strap. We're going to be using a yarn needle and some of the same colored yarn here. This is the Kobu yarn by Lion Brand. And then after we assemble the bag, we have to make the strap. So we're going to use this crochet hook for that. This is a 3.75 millimeter crochet hook. You could use one that's a similar size. So now what we need to do is grab a couple of granny squares here. And you want to have the wrong side facing up. Find the end of your yarn. And we're going to pull out a long strand of yarn. And then we're going to cut it. And I'm going to pull it through almost so that it's like folded in half. So now that we have these two granny squares here that we're going to start with, I'm going to insert my hook into one corner here. I'm under both the front and back loop of this granny square. I'm going to pull the yarn through, and then I'm going to go into the corner on the other granny square. And again, pull that all the way through. Make sure the wrong side is facing up, and we're going to begin adding this one to the bag. So the first thing I'm going to do is find the corner of this one here. Pull the yarn all the way through. I'm going to insert my yarn needle through both the front and back loop of this stitch here, and I'm also going to go through the front and back loop on this stitch of this granny square to start seaming these two together. And this is called the whip stitch. It makes a nice clean seam on the right side of the bag. So now we did that one stitch, and you're going to go into your next one, which is right here on this granny square, and then also on this granny square. And you want to make sure that the stitches are lining up. So pull that through and pull that snug and into the next one. And you're going to do that all the way down these two granny square edges. And I'm down to the corner stitch here. I'm going to insert my hook into the two corner stitches, pull that tight, and now we're going to add another granny square. And since I'm on this side over here, I'm going to make sure it's the wrong side facing up. We're going to go right through this stitch here on the corner, and then I'm going to work my way down this seam here. another granny square here, and then the last one's gonna go on this side. If you want, you can fold your bag in half and just make sure you've put everything in the right place. These are going to fold over like this, and you'll do the seams down those edges there. For now, I'm gonna go ahead and go right up this seam to attach these two. So this is what your bag looks like. You can go ahead and flip it right side out. And the next thing we want to do is add the strap, and it's gonna also, you're gonna also crochet an edge on here. So we have our crochet hook here. Again, this is a size 3.75 millimeter crochet hook. And our yarn, we're going to go ahead and make a slip knot. And we're going to start on the right side of the bag over here in the corner. Insert your hook into the corner stitch. Place the slip knot onto your hook. Pull that through. And then we're going to chain one. And then we're going to do a single crochet into the same stitch. The next thing you're going to do is a single crochet into every single stitch across the front of the bag and around the back until you come back to your first single crochet. Now you can if you want, you don't have to, but I'm going to add a stitch marker here onto my first single crochet. And then I'm going to begin working into each single crochet, and you want to make sure that you do even the chain spaces here, or the chain stitch. So you want to get in there underneath both loops, the front and back of the stitch, which can be tricky in some of them. And do a single crochet. So that was one, and then we're going to go into the next one, and you're going to do that all the way around your bag. So I've removed my stitch marker, and I'm going to slip stitch into that first single crochet from the last round to join the rounds, and then I'm going to chain one, and I'm going to single crochet into that same stitch to start round two. Then I'm going to place my stitch marker back onto the first single crochet of this round. Next, we're going to do a single crochet into each stitch around the entire bag, just like round one. I've completed round 2. I've made it to my stitch marker. I'm going to remove that. I'm going to slip stitch into that first single crochet. And then I'm going to chain 1, going to single crochet into that same stitch. I'm going to place my stitch marker. And on this third round here, we are going to do a single crochet into each stitch until you get to the top of this granny square here. So now we'll crochet a chain for the strap. You start at the top of this granny square over here, and you're going to attach it to the top of this one over here. So we are going to make a chain of 70. You can do less or more depending on how long you want your chain or your strap to be. And now we're going to attach the strap to the other side of the bag here on the top of this granny square. Go through that top stitch, grab your working yarn, and pull it through and also through the stitch that is on your hook. Now you're going to continue with your single crochets all the way to the back, and then once you get to the back of the bag, you're going to do the same thing that you did on the front. So I'm on the other side of my bag. I'm going to make one more single crochet here to reach the top of that granny square, and then again I'm going to start making a chain of 70, and then I'm going to attach it to this granny square over here. So insert into the top stitch, yarn over and pull through, and then pull right through the loop on your hook. And then you're going to continue your single crochet until you meet your stitch marker. I've made it to my stitch marker. Again, I'm going to do a slip stitch into the first single crochet, chain 1. I'm going to make a single crochet into the same stitch, then I'll replace my stitch marker, and then we're going to make a single crochet into each stitch until we reach our strap. When you get to your strap, you're going to do a single crochet into each stitch. You want to make sure you go underneath the front and back loop into every stitch, which may be a little bit tricky, but once you have this first round done, it'll be much easier. So you want to make sure you go underneath the front and back loop of every stitch, and you're going to do that along the entire chain. So as you can tell, I'm sure this part is quite tedious, but the looser those chains were that you made, the easier it will be. So those first few chains that I made were a little bit on the tighter side, so it was harder to get my hook underneath the front and back loop. But if it's looser, it's easier. It just kind of slides right in there, and you can do your single crochet easily. So I made it all the way around my first chain or my first strap, And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of the bag. So we're going to continue single crochet along the edge of the bag, and then once you get to the other side, in the other strap, you're going to make a single crochet into each stitch, just like you did on this side of the bag. And then I will meet you back at the stitch marker. So I've made it to my stitch marker. I have one more to do here. We can remove our stitch marker. Slip stitch to join. Go ahead and cut your yarn. Now we're going to move on to crocheting the inside of the straps. So we need to join here in the center of the bag. So grab your yarn and make a slip knot. Insert your hook into the first stitch here, right down in the corner. Place your slip knot on your hook. Pull that through the stitch, yarn over and chain one. And now we're going to begin doing single crochets all the way up here on the inside of the strap and then back down to the stitch marker. So we're going to do one single crochet into the same stitch where we joined, and one single crochet into each stitch around. Now we've made it to our strap here, and we're going to make a single crochet into every stitch on the strap. We're going to go into, if you can see, this little hole here. So we have one right here that we're going to go into and do a single crochet. And then you can see the next one here. You're going to do that into every stitch along the strap until you make it to the other side. So I've made it to the stitch marker. So we are going to skip this last stitch here. We're going to go right into the first single crochet of that first round and slip stitch into that one. This just gives the bag a better shape. And then we're going to chain one, single crochet into that same stitch, and we'll place our stitch marker, and we're going to go around one more time with a single crochet into every single stitch on this side of the bag, all along the inside of the strap as well. So I've made it to my stitch marker, and again we're going to skip that last stitch there in this round, and we're going to slip stitch to the first single crochet in the last round. Then you can go ahead and cut your yarn. Next we're going to flip our bag over, and we're going to do the same exact thing on this side. Grab your yarn, we'll make a slip knot. Insert your hook into the first stitch down here in this V. Pull that through, chain one, and do a single crochet into that same stitch. Go ahead and place your stitch marker And then you're going to do a single crochet into every stitch around, all along the inside of the strap and all the way back down. And then you're going to repeat that and do a second round just like we did on the other side of the bag. So I've made it around to my stitch marker, and now I'm going to remove that and do a slip stitch into the first single crochet of the last round. And you can go ahead and cut your yarn. I'm going to take my yarn needle and I'm going to go through here and through here. Gives you a nice clean finish. And then I'm going to weave it in just a few of the stitches on the inside of the bag here. On the corner here, on the side of the bag, I'm going to do the same thing with my yarn needle. I'm going to go through this V here, and then through this one over here. And now the last thing that I'm going to do, and this is optional, I like to throw my bags in the dryer using the steamer function, and that will give it a little bit of a steam, and then when you take it out of the dryer, you can kind of press on the stitches and stretch them. That way they look nice and neat and a little bit more uniform. So that's optional. You can do that if you want to. You can also use a regular steamer. I just prefer using my dryer. It's easier just to throw it in there and it kind of does the job for you. And then I lay it flat to let it dry. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope I explained everything well enough for you. It's a pretty easy tote and bag to assemble. But if you have any questions, please leave them down below in the comment section, and I will do my best to help you out. I will also have a link in the description box down below to my website so you can see more pictures and the written pattern, and also a link to the granny square video, and you can learn how to make those and then come back here and assemble them into the little Daisy Blooms mini tote. It's super cute. You can use it as like a knitting project bag, crochet project bag. You just throw it right in there and it'll fit in there perfectly. And or you can use it for a market bag or just an everyday purse. They're really cute. And I also have these exact ones available on my Etsy shop. So if you're looking to just purchase one instead of making your own, I do have that link down below as well. Anyway, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.